Hey guys, insight number 5, and we're in Revelation chapter 5. So this is where John sees this book sealed with 7 seals. And again, 7 meaning complete. There's also 7 dispensations of this earth, and we're in the last one. There's a lot of things that could be read into this 7. Again, don't panic too much about it. It's interesting, like you look back in Genesis, this was also written in a very similar type of language, descriptive, that sounds really weird, but actually if you look at, like even describing Satan, like they were describing Satan back then as a snake, and he was snake-like. It's a good description. Here, in this set of scriptures, he's described as a dragon. So why would that be? Why are they going to reptiles? What is it about reptiles that symbolizes Satan? Because actually reptiles are quite beautiful, but also very deadly. So maybe that's it. Maybe Satan's beautiful to look at, but very deadly. And maybe he's cunning and lures you in and hides in the places that snakes hide. Like, it's not exactly like he's a zebra on the plains eating grass, is he? Like, that's not threatening at all. And actually zebras can be quite deadly, as can hippos. And they look lovely lolling about in this, the river and but actually very, very dangerous animals. So what is it snake-like that would bring that description? Why would he use dragon, being that dragons kind of aren't even real? It's a very mythical object. So why use dragon? What is it about a dragon that evokes that thought of what Satan could possibly be like? So think of that as you read through as well. But we're just going to look at this and say that, he did open these, and you can do a study of that again, a separate study, but just know that there were 7, whatever that might mean to you at this point of your study. But to really point out that he says, just in this beginning part of chapter 5, that he sees this book with the 7 seals. He said, I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? So who's worthy to go and open this and have these things happen and be able to get us to the end, and it's all going to be okay, to actually complete what's needed in this book? Who has the strength and the courage and all the qualities to actually open this book? So you're thinking strong, right? You're thinking like, oh, it's going to be this like really big dude that's probably played gridiron and, or wrestles or something. Like, it's going to be someone like that, because, that would be the person, right? And then at 4 it says, and no man in heaven nor on earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. As in, like, they couldn't. No man could do that. None of us are strong enough to do this. And then John says, I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. As in, like, I can't do it. And he's like, but we need this. We need this to progress. What are we going to do? Like, I can't do this. I don't know anyone here that can do this. What do I do? And then one of the elders, this is in verse 5, saith unto me, weep not, don't cry. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. See, I can't do it, but Jesus can. And it says, and beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as if it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes. So again, 7's complete or fullness. Horns are power, and eyes are light or knowledge. So fullness of power, fullness of light and knowledge. See? Not so scary. Which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth unto all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps. What are harps? Harps is something too. Singing of goodness. Having each one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which sounds strange, but it's like gold is godly nature. So maybe they had qualities of godly nature. I don't know that you can smell of godly nature. Maybe you can. But again, how do you describe what you were seeing? Think about it. Just invite you to think about it. And if you've got any thoughts on this, drop them in the comments, because this is an interesting discussion. And it doesn't mean that you're right and someone else is wrong. It just gives food for thought to try and picture what John's describing. But it says, which are the prayers of saints? And then in verse 9 it starts off, and they sung a new song. And a new song in Hebrew is the best song. It's like the biggest new release. It would be like Taylor Swift dropping a new album that was unannounced, and here's a new song, and she does it at like New Year's Eve or like Christmas Day, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is the best ever. The new song is the best one. That's what they're talking about. And then it goes on and like talks about lots of different things in there, and then flows nicely into chapter 6, but we're going to get to that next week, and that's where our lesson actually starts off. But there's some really good stuff in here to look at. Now, for one, that you probably wouldn't be thinking a lamb would be strong enough to open this book and to do that, and yet he did. You wouldn't think someone that comes in humility and kindness and endearingness, if you will, could be that strong, and yet he is. And we can't do it alone, and he does do it for us. He does have that fullness of power. He does have that fullness of light and knowledge, and people do sing the best songs to him. And he was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom. That's down in verse 12. And strength and honor and glory and blessing. And every creature which is in heaven has room with him. And that's in verse 13. Everyone has access to that power and that beauty and everything, because he is sharing and kind. He's not selfish. He's incredibly inviting. And he said, I want you all. Come back, all of you. Come follow me. Come be with me. It's like... I go back to that door again that we talked about in the other insight, or the picture that's in the Come Follow Me manual this week, is like, I'm right here wanting into your life, but you've got to let me in. I'm not going to force my way in, because he's the lamb. He's not a bull. He's not, the dragon. Like, they're not going to break in and, make you do stuff. He's not a tyrant. He's not telling you. He's giving you agency and saying, I really want to be part of your life. Let me in. That's what he's doing. And it's really beautiful. I also put in this week this beautiful picture of the lamb, because isn't that a gorgeous little lamb? And I know we're in New Zealand. There's a ton of lambs around and I see them all the time. But, if you've ever had the opportunity to feed a baby lamb or to touch a baby lamb, oh my gosh. Something so adorable about them. The calves are cute, all baby animals are adorable, but there's something about a lamb that's just so nice. Once they get to be grown sheep, they're a bit gross. But something about a lamb, a newborn little lamb just trying to walk and waggle its tail is so adorable. There's something so beautiful in that image, and the cleanness of the white and the wool, and it's something just almost heavenly. There's something more in that. Just have this instant love for them. It's kind of cool. So, continuing on from chapter 4, this vision continues that John has. Verses 4 to 6 show that no man or woman, anyone, can open this book or complete the atonement process. So much like life, we can't do many things. However, with Christ, we can. We can do these things, including overcoming death, because he has. John expects a lion, probably, some big strong thing, and yet a lamb appears and does what no one else can. That's kind of cool. And why do you think Jesus is often described as the Lamb of God? What is it about a lamb that people find in that image and their knowledge of the lamb to describe Jesus Christ? Why is that a connection? Think about that one. Maybe discuss that with your kids too. I think they'd like that. What about a little lamb? And if you've got one near you, or you've been to one, because it's kind of the wrong time anywhere in the world to have lambs. Ours are like nearly 6 months old kind of thing. So 5 months, by the time Christmas comes, they'll be, ripe for eating, really. But that's an actual practical view. So why, in the imagery of trying to describe Jesus Christ, would you use a lamb? Have a think about that. Drop in the comments, I want to know. And there's room for Jesus, room for all with Jesus in verse 13. And how can knowing you can do all things with Christ help you face your trials and circumstances or challenges? And it's not that we can do everything perfectly, and it's not that we can do everything. Like, I'm going over the time a little bit here, but if I said I want to be a prima ballerina with the New York Ballet, it's not going to happen. I don't have the build. the stamina, the ability, the strength. I don't have the talent. It's just not in me. It's not going to happen. And actually that's okay, because I don't think I'd want that anyway. But I can do the things that I would like to do. Maybe not all of them. Some of them are a little lofty. I think if I really set my mind to them, like there's some ideas that I like skydiving might be nice to try, but I don't think I actually want to do that. I could say, oh, I'd like to try that. And I'll often say if I was younger, I'd probably give it a go. But knowing what I know now about the capabilities of my body, I'm like, maybe not. But then there are things that I managed to do. And I know it's with Christ because there's no way I could do it otherwise, that require incredible strength, incredible abilities and knowledge and power that I don't have. I don't possess that. And yet in the time of doing it, it is gifted to do that thing. And not all those things are for Christ either. Some of those things are just for me because I like them. So that is a complete gift from Christ that he does that. And knowing that I can do these things, as hard as they seem, as difficult as they might be, and as much as they stretch me spiritually, I can do them. I am able to. And actually the other stuff doesn't really matter. They can wait or just not happen. And that's okay. And that's part of one of those challenges that we face. So facing all of that, how does knowing that really feel for you? And maybe you're not quite there knowing that yet. So I invite you to ask Christ more about that too, that you can really feel that and feel that you can actually overcome the things that you are facing right now. That there is hope in this, and that the book of Revelation, as we study it, doesn't need to be this doom and gloom. It does have prophetic stuff about the last days, and we'll get into that too. But we're not going to focus heavily on what every individual little thing means. A lot of people try and do that, and that's an interest people have. Great for them. But generally, they're going to happen anyway. As long as we're watching for Christ and we're trying the best to live our Christ-like life every day and become more like him, invite him in, have him be part of us, have him be part of our lives, then actually all those signs, we can watch for them. If we miss them, it doesn't matter. It's okay. We don't need to see everything. But it's like trying to be vigilant and just keeping the best we can every day. So don't get caught up in all of that, because I know a lot of people will and think they have to have this big, deep gospel discussion. No, you really don't. You can have a lovely gospel discussion about Christ and how Christ brings hope, and that in every single part of the Bible, even with the ugliness, there's always hope in Christ. It's always there. So that's this week. That's Revelation 1 through 5. So next week we get into 6 through, I want to say 13. Maybe that's too far. Anyway, I think that's about where I'm ready to start. That's where I'm in studying at the point. So I think that's why I said that. But yeah. Anyway, more Revelation. So look forward to that. It's going to be good. Let's unpack some really important stuff and maybe debunk some of the ugliness, because it doesn't need to be. It really doesn't. It was just a way that we were taught. Actually, it doesn't need to be that way. Let's be more positive with our kids and bring some more Christ into this instead of just this impending doom, because it was just, ugh. Yeah. Anyway, have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and do you come follow me study? All right. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.